Our next speaker is a co-founder of award-winning consultancy company called Ethica. And she describes her as an optimistic realist. And she's here now to discuss digital solutions furthering circularity in industry. Please welcome Anne Raudaskoski.
Good morning, everybody. Let's start with something. Yes, the picture of my life. This is what I do pretty much every day, yoga, with our dogs, of course. Yes. A few words about Ethica. Ethica is on a mission to build a circular future. When we talk about novel solutions, when we talk about employability, innovations, that's where we come in. So we design, together with our clients, what those solutions could be. What the best opportunities the circular economy approach, the operating model, and the mindset could offer to your company, whether you are a public organization or a private company. Here are some of our clients. So you can see that we work across different sectors and harness the circular economy approach, how to best capture value to your organization. Let's move on to the topic itself. My title was Digital Solutions Furthering Circularity. When we talk about digital solutions, it's a plethora of different types of technologies and solutions. However, I think it's also important when we talk about circularity and how to achieve circular economy operating model to understand that there are lots of other technologies that we also need in order to really harness and capture the best opportunities that we have. These are called the fourth revolution technologies. But we'll focus for the moment on this one. Let's look at the challenges first. So why do we need digital solutions that enable us to transition towards a circular model? First, we have very opaque value chains. There's a lack of transparency. There's a lack of transparency in terms of material. Where does it come from? Where does it go? Where does it end to? What's the condition of it? What's the substance of the material? Linear product design. We still not quite understand what circular design means, what the kind of means across the life cycle are, how to really harness circular design principles. So we are kind of stuck still in a linear product design. We talk a lot about circular business models, but it's not easy. We know when we're working with our clients, there's a great interest. Some companies have already moved towards circular business models. There's a lot of interest kind of exploring what the opportunities are. But to be honest, it takes courage. You need to be willing to risk to test a circular business models. So that's one of the challenges as well. Then reverse logistics. One really crucial enabler when we talk about kind of closing the loop. How do we organize reverse logistics in an economically viable way? Companies are really good and they've optimized their production lines, their logistics as a one-way street. But now we should somehow reverse that and get all the material back for reuse and remanufacturing. And there's been a lot of talk about recycling. Recycling nowadays is developing really rapidly. New technologies are emerging almost every day, which is fantastic. But at the same time, there's still a lot of leakages. It is still inefficient in terms of value capture, in terms of pure material streams. And then there is the 1.5 degrees challenge, which would be, any guesses? Climate change, thank you. Which is, of course, the biggest challenge of all. But I want to start unwrapping this topic through a vision. We should be designing a system that is restorative and regenerative. How do we do that, and what does it actually mean? And I think this is a really important question to ask from ourselves. How does restorative and regenerative differ from environmentally friendly or sustainable system? Do we merely want to maintain and sustain what we already have, which, to be honest, is a bit of a mess? Or do we want to create a system that really restores and regenerates? And this is the vision that every single company should have. And then after that vision, it's time to start exploring the means. How do we get there? This is a life cycle picture and kind of highlighting different stages, how artificial intelligence can really kind of improve the current system. Case consumer electronics. So first, if we look at the design stage, AI can really speed up the whole design process. It can test different materials, choose the optimal one, iterate much faster than a human could do. Then if we look at the production stage, there's a lot of opportunities for optimizing different steps in production. Then consumer stage, different business models, dynamic pricing, predictive services, repair, refurbishment. All this can be done more efficiently and effectively through AI. Then the last stage, which is recycling, going back to the challenge, inefficient recycling, we can have a lot of kind of boost from AI in terms of more efficient recycling, which of course then turns into euros and better business. A couple of case examples. Dell, which is well-known computer manufacturer. Then we got Seagate, which is an information storage provider. And then we got Teleplan, which has really advanced AI technology and has set up a service business for electronics. And they are really tackling, through their collaboration, these 4 challenges that I listed in the beginning. So what are they actually doing? They started recovering rare earth element magnets from old IT equipment, processing them, remanufacturing them, and inserting them to new Dell computers. And why AI plays such a crucial role here. You can think that it's kind of tiny piece of magnet that is inserted into the laptop. And if you do it by hard labor or inefficient robot, it's very time consuming. So AI makes the whole process economically viable. And if we think these rare earth elements a bit more in detail, because this might sound like a very specific example, but when you scale it up, it starts having a massive impact. So rare earth elements, they belong to critical materials group. And you can see this car, and it has over 30 different spots all over the car where these critical materials are needed. This is just one car. When you scale it up to the entire car industry, you get pretty massive figures. When you add all these other industries that need these critical materials, it very quickly becomes evident that you just need circularity and you need digital solutions to really enable circularity and make business out of it. Another example is circularize. So the challenge number one, opaque value chains, not really knowing what materials we have, where they come from, where they're going to. This is a blockchain system, and it enables sharing data and really increasing that transparency. But it's built on blockchain technology. So you don't need to kind of share your identity. So here's one example how you can really ask questions across the value chain. It's called smart way of questioning. Increasing the transparency, increasing understanding the material content. Very important component in making circularity happen. So going back to these three different types of technologies that we really need in our transition towards circular economy, the most crucial thing is that we need what I called the circular mindset. Because if we don't have the circular mindset, then obviously the technology won't do it by itself. So I think this is a task for all of us, starting as of today, really start harnessing what does circular mindset mean? What is my current linear mindset, and how can I turn it into a great business opportunity? Thank you.
Are you available for questions?
Of course.
Of course. Any comments, remarks, questions from the audience? Yes, do we have a catch box somewhere? Yes, toss it. There you go.
Thank you for your interesting speech there. I'm interested in the rare earth elements because I think they at some point will be very much depleted and they are in high demand there. What is the research around to replace them with other materials?
I'm sure that there are much wiser people in the room to answer that question, who are really kind of doing research on kind of alternative materials. All I can say is that I know there's plenty of it and lots of testing going on how to replace those critical materials. And yet, at the same time, we just need to handle much better the existing material that we already have in use, instead of digging more and more, which becomes more and more expensive and more difficult by day. So yes, we need those two solutions really, furthering significantly circularity, but also research on different materials.
Another question I have is around, you had the 3 pillars there with the digitalization and then the other 2. Thank you. If it then works.
I tried.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of, we have a much bigger problem at hand than climate change. I think microplastics that are in our environment are a much bigger threat to us than the challenges that are coming from climate change. The microplastic is having such an effect that our diversity of living and creatures that are in our world are diminishing. Looking at some of the pillars that you had there, I can see that there is an opportunity for microplastics to be turned into a 3D component for 3D printers and the similar things. I know that the big players like Nike, Adidas are planning to reuse microplastics and plastics that are waste material from the oceans and so on. Any insights on that?
To me, they're all interconnected. So it's not either or. I think, yes, plastics in the ocean, massive problem. Microplastics, the tiny particles that we cannot even see, even more massive problem. So yes, that is absolutely something that we need to tackle. Collecting waste from the oceans and manufacturing products out of it, I think is important in terms of raising awareness, but it's not the solution, because the plastic shouldn't end up in the ocean in the first place. And of course then sort of microplastics is even wider issue, kind of in terms of waste management, having that basic waste management and sorting in place, and then sort of also finding alternative materials there. So, but I think that, you can't really solve one without the other. You just need to have the understanding that the systemic change is already here, whether we accept it or not. And the quicker we kind of grasp the opportunities, the better for all of us in terms of better lives and better business opportunities, and also urban development.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anne Raudaskoski.
Thank you.